Did you happen to see the clip of Stephen A. Smith last week staring into an ESPN camera to say that nobody cares about the Angels and they're irrelevant?
Yes.
Did you do you have any thoughts on that? Are the Angels irrelevant in California?
No, I think the Angels are extremely relevant, especially with Mike and Shohei. I mean, they draw great crowds. Angel Stadium usually has a very good audience there, and I see the attention that these calls get when highlights are out.
Yeah.
Trout and Otani both, they do something, and the highlights are everywhere. And I think there are some good young. The problem with the Angels this year, they've been so hurt. They've had so many injuries that they really couldn't wrap their arms around two really exciting young players they have. The shortstop, Zach Neto, and the catcher, Logan O'Hoppe, I think are going to be stars in this game too. They're building a good organization. I think that it's taken some time. Perry Manassian's in his third year as the GM. I think he's got a good idea of where he wants it to go. The Angels need to win. In the previous decade, if this last decade has really been dominated by the Dodgers. The previous decade was all Angels. I mean, they were in the playoffs almost every year. They won the World Series in 2002, and then they were in the playoffs most years up until about 2010. I think 2009 they went to the ALCS and lost to the Yankees, and that was really the last run for Scioscia's group. So no, I think there's a tremendous relevance there. There's a good history there. Stephen A. is going to say what he wants to say. That's his job. I mean, he's supposed to stir the pot and be controversial and make headlines, and I think he did with that. But I think it speaks to the actual relevance of the Angels that saying something like that made headlines because it was so absurd that it got people to pay attention, that's what he's there for.
Did fans, did that like resonate with fans at all? Did they seem to take issue with it?
Yeah, I think I'm sure. Yeah, I think fans, anytime some clown on TV says that you're irrelevant, it will stoke the fan base. So of course it will. So yeah, I think there's that Stephen A. made some enemies around Angels fans, and I'm sure he doesn't care, and I'm sure they don't care about him either.
Yeah. And I think part of that is a product of just like ESPN. Those debate shows don't talk baseball too much until they have to, and then when they have to, you do get some takes like that where some of it comes from ignorance and some of it comes from just needing to be performative and stir the pot like you said.
Well, it's great. Shohei puts those conversations on TV. He did it during the World Baseball Classic. He's done it with the kind of season that he's had. He'll continue to do it through the trade deadline and then with his own performance. He's on a similar pace to Judge last year in terms of home runs. So if he gets into that conversation where he's going to hit close to 60 homers, then it's gonna spark everything else because he's doing it while also having a season where he's going to strike out at least 200 hitters on the mound. So it's unbelievable. And it's great. If Stephen A. Smith wants to talk about baseball because of Shohei Ohtani, then I think that's a win for the sport.